Thank you for listening to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers for dog trainers, or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend.
You know what I notice? So here in Phoenix, just to give you some history.
Yeah.
I work with the Phoenix Metro Chamber Foundation. I'm an executive board member here, and we throw pet adoption events with like 50, 60 rescues, something like 60 something vendors.
Wow.
And I noticed that when you're working with these rescues, it's an adoption event. So it's in their interest to come. It's free for them to come, of course.
Right.
But still, it's like it's hard. It's like it's pulling teeth sometimes to get them to do their part. Like, at least confirm with me that you're coming so that I can save your space. At least let me know how many, things like that. But I noticed that it's not that they're like lazy or whatever the case. I know that they're just busy because it's nonprofits. Everybody has jobs outside of it.
Yeah.
But it's more, if people don't know what to do, they don't do anything because they don't want to do the wrong thing. And I think Cesar deserves a lot of credit for just serving as some sort of outlet, even for like you became a dog trainer, but there's a ton of owners who I've seen on YouTube who are like, I watched Cesar and I just tried this thing. And it was just enough that it worked, right? No need to go any further. So yeah, I mean, props to him for that.
Yeah. I have a funny story because that's not my personality. I just see a pool and I jump in it and I figure out how to swim later.
Right.
Which I think I'm slowing down and stepping back. That's like changing a little bit.
That's called maturity. It happens at some point in life.
Yeah. But I have a funny story about something going horribly wrong because I jumped in too soon and Cesar giving me a serious pep talk with a shoulder massage after it, but I'll tell.
So let's pick up your story.
Yeah.
So Lily was your dog.
Yeah. My now husband moved from Chicago to LA. He's an actor. He asked me to move down with him. I said, yeah. And so then Cesar at this time was having weekend classes at his dog psychology center in Santa Clarita. So I took Lily into class. At this point, I'd had her for like less than a year. And she wasn't reactive towards she was still reactive to people. But okay, so anyway, I started the class, and after the first round, I mean, I was just obsessed with it all. I was in awe to be at this place. I was in awe of every trainer there. And my husband now was like, just go up and ask if you could shadow. And so I did. And she said, yes. And that trainer is not at Cesar's anymore. She doesn't work there anymore, but she was really my in to starting to shadow there. And then I just got to shadow all the classes and help them out, like kind of do the grunt work. And so, pick up poop or whatever. And I was this all to me was magic, like dog psychology. I was in awe of it. I was so excited to learn the nerdiness of like how dogs naturally communicate. And then I was working at a rescue at the time in LA. And then I got, and I was seeing how much pack walks helped Lily, my pet. I'd muzzle train her and I'd be walking her. So I kind of started pack walks, which by the way, I didn't know this huge world of dog training. I thought it was Cesar and that was it. I know that there are pack walkers in LA, which there's there's so many amazing pack walkers specifically in LA.
Pack walkers make a really good living out there too. It's a huge industry.
Yeah. So I started, I think my business was called like Playful Paws at the time. And I just started pack walking.
Something cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I was cute. Tell her what your name was.
I don't want to.
Okay, well maybe later.
It was Happy Pups Training.
Cute. Yeah. Well, they are happy when they get training.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. So I started doing that. Then I got pregnant and it got really, I think I was like 9 months pregnant at like 8 months. I mean, I look back and I'm exhausted by myself. I don't know how I did it. Honestly, like I was walking a pack of like 9 dogs, like with 9 months pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was up at Cesar's assisting, and then it got too hot to be in Santa Clarita that summer. And so I put a pause on it. And it was like when Olivia, my daughter, was like maybe 6 months old, I went back and asked, and it was run by a different person, Heather Mickelson, who's in LA, who's amazing. And she interviewed me and took me on. I became an assistant trainer.
Awesome.
And then I think like 5 months later, I was a head trainer. Yep. And I taught there for like about a year. But that's what got me automatically into like the fundamentals workshops he did, because he wasn't at the weekend courses, but he does those workshops. So I became a volunteer for those workshops. Like I got in And like now looking, I got to meet some amazing trainers from the very beginning. Like it was nothing, just because I was in the right place at the right time, honestly.
You know what, I've got to say though, you know, and I want to say, first of all, I guess, you know, we don't really bullshit people here, right?
Yeah.
So don't feel like I'm, you know, I don't want you to take this as like a weird, disingenuous, you know, I honestly believe this to be true. And a lot of the big podcasters that I listen to, they preach a lot of this, which is maybe there was opportunity, maybe there was an element of luck, maybe yes, maybe no, but you did the one thing that people don't do, which is just ask.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not really fair to you to just chalk it all up to luck.
Right.
You know?
Well, and I will give I think naturally I was meant, like, Lily is not my favorite dog. Baloo is my favorite dog. And we can say we don't have favorites. Baloo is my,
totally do, yeah.
He's like my soul bud. Like like my husband is not my soulmate. My dog Baloo is my soulmate.
That's what my girlfriend says to me all the time.
Like, I love Dan, but like there's lots of, no, I'm joking. Dan is my favorite. As I say, there's lots of guys. No, but Baloo, it's like, I've had him since 2019, and this, people can be into this or not, I truly firmly believe he's my golden retriever reincarnated.
Yeah, like some dog's life stuff, like a dog's life.
Yes,
dog's
I totally do.
Yeah,
and I feel like he will find me again. Like, I just feel like we're always going to be together, this dude and I. Yeah. But I don't have him tattooed on my arm. I have Lily tattooed on my arm, because if it weren't for her, I would not have entered this dog training world.
You know, you have another arm.
Yep, there is.
I will. Arm. Yeah, one day I'll get Baloo here for sure. But I'm just gonna stop at those two. Otherwise, it will be ridiculous. Like,
you're like, how many animals do you need?
It's fit limitations.
I met those people. I met them.
Yeah.
Animal tattoos. But yeah, I think I would agree with Mariano. It's like, you know, there are certain people who they see opportunities. Not only did you ask, but you committed and you stuck to it, and you were in love with the process, right? And dog training, it's all about process. You know,
hungry for knowledge,
and enjoying yourself along the way. So.
And I've got to say that I admire your courage too, because that's a skill set that I had to develop in my life. You know, I was one of those people that was like quicker to quit things when I was younger, you know, and even from before the dog, like just the pre-med, I know that's hard, right? So, you know, not to mention moving from Colorado to another state by yourself with your dog, like, you know, so I admire that. And I think that when we talk in a podcast kind of geared more toward the newer trainers, I want to make sure that that's something that's not lost in the conversation, as if it doesn't matter, because it does. You know, it's important to. Right. It's great if you're lucky or whatever. It's great if you meet people and things work out, as I believe things tend to just kind of work out like that too. Yeah. If you do your part. Yeah. Right? But you did your part.
Yeah.
Yep. Right? Yeah. So I just kind of remind people, like, be willing that, you know, opportunity. What's that saying? Opportunity is like timing plus. It's something, you know.
Timing plus curve. I don't know. I don't
know. Whatever. Well, I'm butchering it, but essentially, opportunity comes when you're in the right place in the right time, and you've done the work to be able to take advantage of said opportunity.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got to start at the Dog Psychology Center.
So you started the Dog Psychology Center. You're pregnant. You had the baby. Are you married at this time?
Yeah, we got married. We've been together for like 10 years, but we got married. We still haven't had a wedding, which my husband, it will be one day, but I think we're going to adopt a baby and buy a house before a wedding is a priority.
Nice.
I mean, we've been together since I was 20, so there's not really any rush, but we got married. I wanted now I wouldn't care, but at the time I wanted us all to have last names. So we did like a little court thing when I was like full belly. Yeah. But one day we'll have a big fancy wedding. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be, I'm sure there's going to be dogs in it, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. The more I do this, the more I want space from my dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. I have 3.5 dogs. And you know, I think I want a dog. I tell everybody this story that, like, my favorite client dog ever is an all black German Shepherd that I had trained in LA.
Love a German Shepherd.
I love a German Shepherd too, but this guy was just something special. Like, he was my doggy soulmate.
He was your spirit animal.
Well, but I'll tell you what too, you know, maybe there's something to that, because when I was little, my dad had a dog and he was a German Shepherd and his name was Bear, and I loved him and I missed him. And, you know, so anyway, this guy was amazing. And when my dogs kind of get older and pass on, I think I'm going to limit it down to like a dog, and I want to get me my German Shepherd.
Yeah, we had 5 over the summer. My last foster just got adopted, and I'm taking a break. Like, I mean, I love fostering dogs. I am really grateful that I married someone outside of the dog world. Like, I knew him way before this, simply because and honestly, there's been like, I'm pretty honest about everything. There's been times I'm like, oh, if he loved dogs as much as I, like if he loved all this, we could like do so much or whatever, but it makes me put limitations on how much I work at home, how many dogs I bring in the house, like, all these things. And so we had 5 over the summer, and I was like, oh my gosh. And we have 3 in like a very long-term forever foster, a dog that I brought in from a client. They were not a good fit, 100-pound German Shepherd that was attacking everything, including redirecting on her. He's come super far, but if I will ever be able to adopt him, who knows? And I'm in no rush. It's just if someone else. I cannot wait to have 2 dogs. And this actually is my biggest advice to new trainers. Do not take on the hard ones just because you can. Because that's really, Lily has come so far. She's such a like helpful buddy, but she has limitations on what she can handle. If we used to use Baloo, my oldest dog, my love, at Cesar classes, where in dog reactive classes, we would toss a ball and he would weave through these dogs lunging at him like it was nothing.
Right.
He could sit there for hours while a dog is lunging on him, not take it personally, never get agitated, never get anxious, could care less, will actually put energy towards the dog to help chill the dog out.
Right.
But could not care. And my little Chihuahua, who's like my newest addition, I've had him for like 2 years now. He is amazing. My little dog trainer dog. I can take him everywhere off leash. I clock out when I hang out with them. When I hang out, and Lily's like pretty easy, but still I have to be a little on sometimes. Goose, you have to be on all the time, the German Shepherd. There's no like, so I clock out of work and I clock out in with him. Like, and my biggest advice is like, as a dog trainer, you do have to work a lot. If you're going to take on board and trains, you don't clock out. Like you are on a lot. And it can be super exhausting. So don't take on the hard ones just because you can. Help them, help rehab them, and pass them on to someone who wants to finish it, because you need a break. And like, I can't wait to have 2 dogs. Cause the thing I loved about Blue is we went everywhere together. Like we lived in a studio in Chicago together, and there wasn't a time that we weren't together, not in this clingy, obsessive way, but in this, like, I want my dog. If I'm walking,
you guys were physically very close. You guys are always doing stuff together.
Exactly. And that's the relationship I like with my dogs. And I cannot wait to get back to a pack of 2 where I can take everywhere. Like, you don't need, some trainers have 10 dogs, like Sherry Lucas, who's amazing, has like a pack of 10 dogs, and she uses every single one in her training, and it's badass. I can't physically, I want to.
Lot. Well, I think the setup is important there, because, I'm in that place right now where my business is kind of transforming from one thing to another, which is why I'm going through the growing pains, looking for employees, figuring all that stuff out, which I'm very happy for, But with that being said, I have to think about like exactly things like this. I'm like, well, naturally when I get my German Shepherd, I think I'm going to put him into like BH and put him into some Schutz and stuff and get it some sports stuff going. And then maybe try to go after like a whole different type of clientele. Maybe I can sell dogs like to the county, or maybe I can offer training programs to like different police departments, a different world, right? Than just like the pet dog stuff. And
very different world. And
it makes me think of, it is nice to have a nice, like a big pack of dogs to help socialize or desensitize if and when you have to, but that's easier to do when you have like a kennel and a staff, than just bringing dogs to the house. And 10 of these, are mine, which doesn't leave that much more space for client dogs.
Yeah. I think it's also just what you want your expectations to be with your dog, like your dogs. Like my husband's always home, and he is actually amazing with dogs. He used to help me pack walks when my business was only pack walking, and he is better than me sometimes. I think it's like blind confidence. I don't know. He is like a kind of confident dude, but so he's like, if I'm not around, he's taking care of our dogs, but like, I want them to go everywhere with me. And when they're not capable to like go to your privates with you, all that stuff, like it's a bummer for them, and then also acknowledging I love all training, but I want to work with the reactive dogs. Like if the dog wants to bite me, that's a dog I want to take in for a board and train. If a dog wants to bite another dog, like that's the kind of stuff that I love, because you can't be thinking about anything else. You have to be in the moment.
Forced to
and
be very
someone,
present. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And someone who moves very quick, and my brain can be in a lot of places. I love those.
It's
dogs.
therapeutic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that dog trainers, we all kind of have a little ADD? Like,
yeah. That's why we chose a job where we don't have to sit still.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but it's like, and this is probably the biggest reason why I would rehome him if I found the right home for him. Which I feel like is also it's like such a no-no in the dog world, but I would 100% rehome this dog if I found another, because he's so sensitive. The energies I bring in sometimes are hard for him. You know, like if I bring in a dog with separation anxiety, all of a sudden he's like, in his crate. And I'm like, dude, you've been in the crate. You're like, you're cool. Like, and I have to like do massage work or help him find relaxation, where all my other dogs they're not taking on the energy of that dog. So you always have to be mindful of, does your dog want to be a trainer's dog?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's that controversial to say. Like if you'd rehome him if you could. And just like I don't think it's that controversial. I have a friend in LA, and when I met her, she was a really good dog trainer. She's still a really good dog, but she was working as a dog trainer. Now she's kind of more like the pack walk thing herself, her and her boyfriend.
Cool.
And I remember one of her dogs, Marley, who I loved. She was a little husky something mix. Sweetest thing, cutest thing. And I remember she called me one time and she was like, I need you to tell me that I'm not wrong. Like I'm not doing the wrong thing. And I was like, okay. And she was explaining to me that Marley, who was her like dog trainer's dog, who she would take places, just had the best temperament, was really well trained on off leash, on e-collar, was getting old. So she wanted to retire Marley and send her to live with her dad, who's right there, like in Long Beach, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, why is that wrong? You know? And she just sounded so beaten down. And I was like, who have you been talking to? You know, like who's telling you this is a bad idea? I don't get it.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was what I told her was like, it's big of you. It's good of you. You're doing your job as a trainer to do what's best for Marley.
Yeah. 100%.